Well, what's up everyone, this is Matt Morozic, and this will be another work in progress update on the 1/24th XS bust I'm doing for the Ammo by MIG book. So I've been moving along pretty good. I'm in good shape. I took a pretty long break from this because I just needed time to kind of take a break. A little overwhelming. I reached a big hurdle in the last video, which is wiring the base, which was a little nerve-wracking. It's just I'm glad it worked out the very first time. I had to go back and do a little rewiring I showed you, but now I'm on the step where so everything for the most part has been painted. Been working on panel lines and stuff, so you can see that this is all nice and shiny. This is with that automotive acrylic urethane U-pole that you mix, and the article that I'm writing will have all this information in there also. So this is nice and shiny right now. I've gone through, and actually for this build, I've been using the Tamiya panel lining fluid, which I've had this for a long time, and I've never really tried it. So I've been using it on this and actually really like it. It's an enamel panel line. It's a little messier than the India ink, but with this being as shiny as it is, the India ink is actually having a hard time sticking to the clear coat. It's so slick, it doesn't want to stay on the clear coat. So I've been using the enamel wash. It's been pretty good. I find that sometimes I do it more than once to get it as black as I want, but other than that, it's been pretty good. And I have a lot of more detail painted to do in here, like these will all get nuts and bolts. These little things will get hand painted later. But what I'm going to show you right now is one of the clever things they've done in this kit is the way some of the wiring works. And so I got one of these side pieces done with an LED already, and I did this so I could make sure I did it correctly and then show it on video on how this works, and you can see how shiny that is. And I have a lot of touch-ups to do. You know, things get marred up as I work, and that's okay. That's just with every build. But what's really cool is this is basically held on with a few magnets, and it's on there. It's not a real strong pull, but the way it's designed, it's actually it's kind of clever. The way this works, and I'll show you real quick. I'll just kind of dry fit it. You can see I did some pre-wiring here before I painted, so I'm having to kind of paint, wire, you know, kind of go in between. The way this is going to be held on both sides, and I'll just do a dry fit real quick to show you. It's pretty clever. Even those magnets aren't real strong, and everything slides together really nice with that clear coat on there. The way this works is, if I can find the other piece, hold please. Oh, this guy. So you got the magnets there, and then you have this kind of side piece right here that'll eventually get screwed into place. And it basically just, the way it holds it up is this little detail piece right there just kind of keeps it from sagging. So really the magnets are just kind of holding it against the body, and then this piece keeps it from sagging. So if you ever want to transport this thing, you can take these off relatively easy like that, and then they just go right back on. So pretty cool. But not only are the magnets holding this piece on, it's also conducting electricity for this LED, because right now I haven't glued this piece on, but I'll show you how it's wired inside. Got my LED right there. I've got my positive and my negative, and there's actually a resistor wired into the negative side, just according to the instructions. This piece will get glued on, and the LED slips right into this hole, just like that. And it lines up perfectly, actually. And I'll glue this on before I do any painting. You can see here where I kind of scuffed up the paint a little bit from sliding this on the first time. I'm not too worried about that because you don't see that when it's in there, but I'll go ahead and spray a little blue paint on there just to make it neat. And the only thing that goes over here is one of the photo etched metal grill parts, and I'll touch up that little piece of bare resin right there just with some black paint. Or I just may paint this whole inside silver, I'm not sure yet. So that's how it gets wired. And if I put this on here, like that, I've already got the magnets in this side, the magnets in this side, and the way this works is you strip some of the sheathing off the wire, and you wedge that bare wire between the magnet and the side of the piece. So now that when these magnets touch, the trick is the magnets have to touch for this to work, this will light up. So let's see if it works. It may not work laying on its back. It works when it's upright, so we'll see. Because the way I did this was when it was in the upright position. So I got my little LED tester here. Positive, negative, and there you go. So it lights up, you can see there. And now if I take this off the magnets, it turns off. Put it back on, lights up. Pretty clever. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick on this other side. Hopefully it won't take too long now that I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to put this collar part to the side for now. My workbench is a disaster because I'm doing a bunch of stuff at one time. I'm going to look at my awesome roadmap of instructions here to make sure I get all the wiring correct. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wire the blue part with the magnet and the LED. So this kit only comes with 2 blue LEDs. And I want to make sure I didn't lose the other one. There it is, it's right here. And just to make sure it's the right one, I'll throw it in my LED tester and we're good to go. Got my soldering iron already heated up over here. So you can see here I got like I don't know, like my paint chip. I must have dropped this part in the paint chip, so that's a bummer. So I'm going to paint that, touch that up at the very end. So what we need to do first is I'm going to tin the ends of this LED. And I'll make sure I get the wiring right, because these all this wiring is really confusing. These come into the center, these come into the center, and then everything kind of meets up in the middle and goes into a plug. So I got to make sure that I get all the polarities correct. So this one, and I always forget which is the long side. It's the which side of the LED is positive. I always have to look at the diagram because I forget, because I don't do a lot of LED wiring. Okay, the red is positive. So I'm going to tin this real quick. And if you don't know what tinning is, it's simply just adding a little solder to whatever piece you're working on. I got my handy dandy little third hand tool here. Get my solder, and I'm going to go ahead and tin this. And basically, I just run a little bit of solder on the positive side, just like that. And the wiring that comes with this kit, these kits are very, very thin. And I was using some other LED wires that were thicker, but I found out that actually they were too thick because they wouldn't fit in the spaces needed, like the channels and stuff. So now I'm gonna, I got my red wire here. I'm gonna tin that. And here, let me get more in the camera. And I'm just going to put a little solder on this wire. Just like that. So now all I got to do is come over here. And now they both have solder on them. And all I got to really do is hold the two pieces together and heat up the solder, and they'll melt together. And I like to leave a lot of contact space. Okay, there we go. And then we'll get a piece of little heat shrink here. I got a bunch of heat shrink over here. We're going to heat shrink everything so we don't get any shorts or anything. So I like to cover the entire lead and the wire. So cut a little bit long. Throw that on. Sorry, not in camera. Just like that. And then I got my hair dryer. I'm gonna do this right here off the camera because it'll blow everything on my work. It'll blow everything off my workbench. So I'm gonna do it right here off camera real quick. So that's nice and protected. Now that doesn't have any bare wire. Now if we get this to fit in this little, these channels right here, I've got to cut the negative lead a little short to make room for the resistor. So I'm going to cut that short right about there. Just like that. We're going to tin this. If you want to learn how to LED, there's a bunch of really good tutorials on YouTube. Mine that way better than what I'm doing here. That's where I learned because I'm not good at wiring. Now I'm out of black wire for this, so I've been using anything other than red. So like on this one I used blue, I think. Yeah. This side I'll just go ahead and use like maybe orange. As long as I know it's not the red. Well, I don't want to use orange, it's too close to red. We'll use white. So the wiring is going to be a little off. I think I lost the black wire. Oh, I need my resistor. And it's telling me I need, to their diagram, an R2, which is a brown and then green strip. Brown, green right here. Yeah, it goes brown, green, brown, yellow. It's like this. Right there. I gotta cut those short a little bit so they'll fit in the channel. Cut that short like that. Oops. And then we'll cut this one. I'll try to upload these videos tonight. I recorded a pretty long video last week. I just haven't had a chance to upload it. I'm gonna tin this one. This LED or this resistor over here. Like that. Get rid of all that extra solder. And then we're going to bring the resistor over here onto the negative side of the LED, and I'm going to hold it with the pliers because it's going to get hot real quick, or with the tweezers. Go. Okay, so now we're going to tin this side of the resistor. Like that. And I'm going to tin my white wire, which I'm using as a negative since I'm out of black. It's no big deal as long as I know the polarity of the wires. The color doesn't matter. So we got that tinned, got the resistor tinned. Go ahead and solder those together. Like that. And then we'll get a bigger piece of heat shrink, a little thicker, because the thin stuff won't fit around the resistor. I'll make sure that's long enough to cover the wires and everything. Just like this. So that's long enough to cover the resistor and the wires. Again, I'm gonna do this off camera. Okay, so here we have our LED wired with the resistor, and the negative side comes out of this channel right here, so it's important that we make sure that that comes out that way, and it's a tight fit. So if I use thicker wires, these wouldn't fit. So right now I'm just going to put this in here to get the length of the wire I need. I had to drill these holes out a little bit earlier today because they weren't all the way through, but it's no big deal. So the way I get the length of the wires, I get this kind of in here loosely. I get this piece that the LED gets mounted to. Basically, I'm just going to kind of, that's the wrong side. Wrong one. This is the right one. And then we just kind of push it down in there to get to fit. And then that tells me the length of these wires. So let me get this out of here. I'll get this piece off now. It's a tight fit. Those wires are bunched in there pretty good. Come on. There we go. All right, so what I want to do, I'm going to cut these longer than I need. So I want to check to make sure that I've got good conductivity. And then on the last one, I just stripped all the sheathing off the negative wire because I don't need it all there. My wire trimmers or whatever these wire cutters don't have a thing small enough to strip that wire, so I have to use my teeth. And I dropped the LED on the floor. There it is. And I'm going to put some solder on these too. Okay. Twist those together. Check my length again, make sure they're probably too long still. But since these are in separate channels, these wires won't touch. So even though I have like all the protective sheathing off, they're not going to touch and cause a short. There's that side, there's that side. Okay. So it's going to be wired in like this. And I'm just going to go and throw this in my, go ahead and throw some solder on these guys. I'm going to cover this whole bare wire with solder so it's a nice one solid piece. So those don't come unfrayed. Just like that. And it also gives the wire a little more thickness because these magnets, by the time you're done, they're just pressure fit in there. Between the size of the hole and the thickness of this wire, it holds the magnets in. They don't need any glue. So it's actually pretty clever how this works. Okay. So I'm just go ahead and check my LED before I put the magnets in. Make sure it's still working. And we are. Still looking good. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. Like this. And I'm going to just throw this in here as a temporary hold. Nope, I got that going wrong. Haha. I had it going wrong. It goes in like this. And I got kind of use a little toothpick to get the LED to get into the little mount here. Come on. All right, we're going to bend this wire a little bit. Like that. That should do it. There we go. Okay. All right, so now when I go to put this final assembly together, everything's nice and flush. This sits flat. And I'm actually going to take some more sheathing off the negative side, because the trick is you want bare wire in this channel in order for this to work. If that magnet's not touching bare wire, it's not going to conduct electricity to light the LED. I'm going to take a little more off of the negative side. Come on. Just like that. All right. Now I'll be able to put these magnets in and we'll be good to go. Just like that. And I like to have this in place as I put the magnets, just to make sure that the LED is in the right position. And then they give you a bunch of magnets right here. They're not very big and they're not very strong, but they're just strong enough to hold everything in place. So basically I have a stack here. I'm just going to use the stack to kind of, now that was pretty loose. I'm probably have to glue that in. Let's see about this side. All right, this side seems like it'll do nicely with a pressure fit. Just like that. And this side, I'm going to actually put a little dab of CA in here. Just on the side. A little too much, so I'm going to clean it out with the Q-tip. Okay, so there we go. Just like that. And they're countersunk just a little bit, which means I may have to make the other ones raise just a little bit on the other side, on the other piece. It's no big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and snip these flush. Be careful because you're dealing with magnets, so I want to set your whatever metal tool right down to it. Okay, so that side's in there. So now we need to wire the collar part. And right now I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to try to wire these together. These all tie into a plug that goes into one of the motors. So I do that after I wire a few more LEDs. Depending on how long this video is, maybe I'll show that. So now I want to get some more red wire. I should. Yeah, a little bit right here. So same thing. I'm just going to strip this off. And I'm going to twist it. I'm going to put some solder on it. Like that. And the red goes towards the back hole. I had actually had a pin in these pieces earlier when I was doing the initial assembly, thinking that these magnets wouldn't be strong enough, but now that I have them in there, I don't need the pins. And that's one reason why that paint rubbed off, because it was such a tight fit. I didn't want to go together. I'm going to have to pause here just 1 second. All right, my wife is trying to call me. So, any phone, buddy, bring me a phone. From the kitchen, it doesn't matter where. All right, so keep going until he brings me a phone. All right, so we're going to feed this wire through here. Oh, make sure the polarity is correct. So I'm going to pause again real quick for a second, guys. Okay. Sorry, I don't have any phones upstairs, so it makes it hard to answer the home phone. All right, so I'm going to make sure the polarity is correct, so I'm going to push this side in. And that goes towards the back. Just always checking the polarity. You do not want it to dig a magnet out, especially on a painted piece. Okay, there we go. Nice fit. All right, I'm gonna pause again. All right, I'm back. So what I did is I made this magnet, I pushed it out a little bit, so that way when I push this in, I'm gonna now push this piece in, I know they're gonna touch. See, now my magnet pulled out, so I'm gonna have to put a little glue in this one too. So those holes are a little on the big side. No big deal. So I'm gonna put a little dab of glue in here. And I'm going to use a toothpick to kind of push that down a little bit. Don't want to use my finger. Don't want to get glue on my finger. Okay. So I'm going to let that set up for a second. So while it's kind of drying, I can do the other magnet on this side. So again, I'm using white. Where's my white wire? Here it is. Let's strip some of this off. Put some solder on it. And then we're going to put the magnet in. Again, checking polarity. Making sure it's the right side. Just pulling that wire down just so that a little bit of the wire sticks out right there. Hopefully this will fit in with some pressure. Pressure fit. No, I'm gonna need a little dab of glue in there too. My drill's been acting weird. It wobbles when I drill, so the holes aren't a precise size for some reason. So I may have to try a different drill. Okay, again, gotta check the polarities, constantly checking polarities. Making sure we're going in the right way. So now that I have glue in there, I'm gonna have to, before it dries too much, put this in and squeeze it down. And we're gonna let that sit for a little while, and hopefully I haven't glued these two parts together. So while it's kind of doing its thing, I'm gonna pause and come back. Okay, so got this in here, and you'll be able to see the glow on the paper down there of the light working. So I know my magnets are touching. They were working. Hold on. They were working a second ago. Make sure I got these all the way down in the tester. Oh, there it is. It's working. You can see there. All right, so it's working. Let's see if my magnets are in the right place. And they are. So you can see there, the magnet's in there, and there's a little piece of wire sticking out on this one. I'm going to go ahead and clip that off. Actually, I'm going to leave that little piece of wire there, I think. That might help just conduct electricity a little bit. But yeah, so this side's done now. So that fits in there nicely. This side fits in nicely. And see, how long am I at? I'm at 30 minutes. I'll keep going. Why not? So the next step is to, the way this works is this little plug is going to go into the motor of the collar. Let me get that real quick. So I'm going to clear out a little space here because I got stuff everywhere. I've been got the base over here, right there. I'm going to plug it in because this plug that I just had somewhere gets plugged in right there into this base, and that's what provides the power for all these other parts. Sorry about the noise. We're getting ready for some company tonight, so there's a lot of stuff going on in the house. Now they're showing a resistor here, but it's not telling me which resistor to use. So that's when you go back to these awesome diagrams that they give you. And this is showing me I need an R2. Oh, that's what I used on the sides, right? And this is showing me an R1. So R2 is for the two blue ones that I just did. R1 is for this next light, and that R1 is a brown. It goes brown, red, brown, yellow. So let me see if I can find one of those guys. Let's see, brown, red, brown, yellow. That's one of these guys right here. Yeah, brown, red, brown, yellow. This is a small one. Okay. And then this light is a color changing LED. I just have one in front of me, but here's another one. Put in the tester. See that it changes colors. To green, to red. So I think it goes green, red, orange. Nope, it does blue too. So there's that guy. So again, I'm just gonna put the base to the side here for a second. I actually have a really big work area, but it's never enough room, it seems like. I'm gonna go ahead and tin the leads of this guy. Solder, here's the solder. Too much solder. Ready? And then I need to well, it's telling me right here this is an R1, but there's another resistor in the diagram. I'm not sure if I need that resistor. So that's a little confusing sometimes. I don't think so. I think I only need the one. I think what this is in the directions, let me show you real quick. So I'm wiring this LED right here. If I follow this along, it tells me I need an R1 resistor right there. If I follow that diagram to the wiring, it shows an R1 right here, or another resistor right here. What I think is this resistor over here, the R1, is actually this one, and this is just a blow up of this part of that diagram. So if I cross-reference this diagram, it's only showing me I need the one R1 resistor for the color changing LED. So that's going to go on the negative side. So I'm going to go ahead and tin that. I'm going to cut these leads down a little bit. And this wire needs to have some slack in it because this part of the this part is where some of the moving parts is located. This is the front of the bust right here, and a hatch opens up, and that's what this is going to light up. Sorry, it's got a lot of stuff on it. Alright, so now take this and get them off. I'm not seeing a whole lot of the soldering part, but again, there's much better soldering videos than what I'm doing. Don't solder over your painted parts in case some solder comes off. It'll melt your paint. And again, it's always checking polarities. Negative side, okay. There's the short. I think my dog is freaking out downstairs. Now this is telling me to put the resistor on the positive side. Okay, so we're gonna follow that. We're gonna follow what it says. Just like that. And then I don't know how long this lead has to be, so I need to connect, let's see, these two wires, and these reds get connected with this LED. So I got the two coming from this side, the switch, or not the switch, but the plug. So I'm going to cut this wire a little short here. Give myself enough room. Like that. I'll put this over here. I'm going to go ahead and take these off for now because I know they're working. Let's put them to the side. Okay, put those to the side for now. And we're going to wire this plug in. Okay. Okay, so there. I'm going to go ahead and get some wire on the LED.
Are you going to be 10?
No, she'll be 11. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and throw this wire on here. Oh, I didn't tin the other side of the resistor yet. that. And let's let's see, and then they've got the negatives come together for that wire, and then cut these short, and then we'll have this part of the base wire. And then after this, LED wise, I think I just have the head, which has a lot of lights in it. So if I can get this wire before I gotta go and see if it works when I plug it into the base. Just tin all these wires. Okay. And you get this clear part real quick. So this is where the LED goes, and this was clear resin. I just sprayed it with some of the U-Pole clear, and it got nice and clear and shiny. And to get that, I kind of need to dry fit some of these pieces in. Let's see. I'm wondering if I may have to glue this piece down right here before I do any wiring. Oh, maybe not. They have a channel here. Let's see how this is going to work. Okay, channel, and this is going to come up, and this piece goes here in the end, and it comes up in here. So I just need to make sure I have enough slack in the wire for this to move up and down. Okay, so this will get put in there. I'll probably drill that hole a little bit deeper. Like that, and then, okay. I'd rather have a little too much wire than not enough. Is the ham done yet? Okay, I'll come down and glaze it in a little bit. All right, so now I need to put some heat shrink on this resistor. So let's get this heat shrunk. that. And then I know I'm going to need about, let's see, I need to see the motor. Let's see, I gotta think about this for a second. Actually, it doesn't matter because it unplugs. Okay, so I think out loud a lot too. So this is gonna go there, this is gonna go here, that's gonna go there. So we're going to twist these guys together. Get all the positives together, and then I'll worry about the negatives. And then we'll plug it into the base and see if they work. Like that. And then we're going to actually, this will work. This stripper will work on this wire, the smallest one. All right. So we're going to tin this wire. They actually already have it tinned a little bit, but I stripped some more of the sheathing off, so just like that. And I'm going to want to heat shrink this, so I'm going to put that on first. Just like that. And hopefully this will solder together relatively easily. This is one occasion where I have to solder on the part, which I don't like to do, but okay, I'll be down in 1 second. My ham is ready to glaze. Okay, I'm going to actually get a little alligator clip here and hold these together. I know, I'm in the middle of wiring something right now, so I have to wait a few minutes. You have to give me a couple of minutes. I'm in the middle of wiring something. Alright, so it's not real pretty, but looks like we got a strong connection. And then we're going to heat shrink this. I have to mix up the glaze and then raise the temperature to 475 to glaze it. So okay, so I'm back again after a break. I'm doing family stuff. So I went ahead and I soldered all the wires together on this LED right here to the plug. And now we're going to plug it in and see if it all works. And if it does, I'll be into this video. So the way this looks like it's going to work is that there's a little channel right here for these wires to go through for the LED. I'm going to make sure I have enough slack in those for this to move up and down. It doesn't move a whole lot, it only moves a little bit. So when the hatch opens, this comes up a little bit. It doesn't come up much, comes up about that far. So don't need a ton of slack, but I do need enough for it to move. So I think right about there is going to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this piece in here just to kind of hold it in place where it's supposed to go, like that. And then this will get plugged into this part of the motor, this collar part. And I hope I have enough slack in these cords for this to go. And I had my negative wire got cut a little short by accident, so I'm hoping I have enough slack. And it looks like I have just enough. So we're gonna dry fit this together real quick and see if it's working. We're gonna plug it into the base and make sure we still got juice. Just like that. And that comes down like that. So yeah, I got plenty of slack, plenty of room. And we're gonna throw this on the base real quick. Let's see. It's a little tricky right now because it's not all together. There we go. Okay, that goes there like that. And then I can go ahead and throw this collar on part also. That'll help lock it in place actually. On camera here. Okay, so like that. And now we'll see if those lights work. We'll see if this light works in here. Ah, it does. So far, so good. Now, just to make sure everything else is working, I'm gonna put these guys in. Oh, it was working. What happened? Okay, I got a little loose connection on that side, so I'll have to play with that a little bit. This side works okay. So the left side, or camera right's working. This side over here has got a little bit of a loose connection. And I'm not sure where that's coming from. So it was working earlier. I don't think these have glued in, so what I can do real quick. Oh, I was recording that whole time. Anyway, I got them fixed. So now they're both working. So sorry I wasn't talking that time. I thought I'd paused it. But yeah, so we're working now. And then so that's it for the LEDs on this part of the kit. The next part will be all in the head. So that's it for this video. Sorry for another long one, but you know, these things take time. Thanks for watching again. It's Matt Rosick. Catch you guys next time.